How do we have a
Well,
life?
there's also, Michael, speaking of the money aspect, and I see on a daily basis people who are self-rationing their care due to this cost. I mean, recently saw a woman who had been 4 days severely short of breath to the point where it would be the equivalent of a 200-pound person sitting on your chest.
And
She
we're here in Lamoille County, Vermont?
This Lamoille County, and this terrified woman for 4 days had stayed home. She thought it was her asthma, kept taking her inhaler every few hours, and kept thinking it would get better, it would get better. And the reason she was doing that was due to a deductible, huge deductible. People in Vermont have, I'm sure all over the country, some of them $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 deductibles. And she's working full time and thought, well, she already had some medical bills from another family member having problems, that how could she possibly go to the doctor or go to the hospital? Well, it turned out it wasn't her asthma. It turned out she was having a massive heart attack and went into what's called pulmonary edema and I had to beg her to agree to take an ambulance. She was worried about taking an ambulance from our office to the hospital.
Because of her self-rationing.
She wanted her son to drive her, yes. And she ended up spending a couple days in the ICU. So here you have this kind of a horrible case of this woman suffering this massive heart attack, and really not ignoring it. She thought it was her asthma, but instead of coming to the doctor, the primary care, instead of coming in, she ended up self-rationing. And then what do we look at? Now let's look at the money. Spent how many days in the ICU? Probably will end up on Medicaid. We will end up paying that. And now she has severe damage to her heart. So this is not, I see this all the time. These are just one of many examples.
And the flip side is, we know that if we see somebody just after the chest pain started, with our contemporary technology, we can often get a heart attack that's getting ready to happen,
right,
stopped before it happens. There are ways of doing this. It involves working with our colleagues in hospitals and cardiologists, but it is a easily doable thing. We do it all the time. So this woman who might have had her heart attack aborted by early treatment, and I'm guessing that process would have cost $10,000 to $20,000. Instead, she ended up with a 3 or 4 day ICU stay that probably cost $50,000 to $100,000. And she ended up permanently crippled as a result, where her health could have been restored if she had had access to primary care.